you have all of this kind of on a dashboard, right? So one of the coolest things, and this is where we're going to be really talking about on the 7th, which is driven by a lot of these findings, is this is at a glance kind of where all of your facilities are as far as average age and total square footage. Then we drive into this information and we will actually see where like the roof plan and everything else was defined, right? So this shows all the metrics on long-term planning. There's your total budget by your facility system. So like roofs, exterior lots, all of those things that are going to eventually have to be paved. This is mapping that out for 10 years, right? What we need to do, we need to sit down with all of you and your administration mainly and update this, but this will actually show you some of the detail that we've been pulling from, right?
This goes back to that
Right.
list that we had a year ago.
Yeah, has this been up the whole time and we just don't know how to find it?
Probably, yes. So hence why I'm here. And
I think a good idea, Mike or Tracy or somebody would be send us a link to where we can access this. I do remember them talking about everything's gonna be on a dashboard, but I never remember.
There was a step in
officially.
between, because when we had facilities, we put it on the Google Sheet, which is not the way to do it. And so we started working with Mr. Hallowell and 2 years ago. Yes, a very preliminary, put different priorities in place. And some of the things that were on that original list changed. So I have that Google Sheet and it's a living document. So again, you need someone driving this to kind of see like, no, these are things that are done. You have that Google Sheet that I shared with you. Has that been cross-referenced to this?
No, because this is what we have to remember, it's the Google Sheet. So this is your third-party perspective that you contract with us to provide. This, when we sit down with your facilities department, we'll have some input, but this is driven by engineering design by definition, because you don't, that's where these things get out of control as far as prioritization. What we need to do is use that sheet, Dr. Herrera, as guidance of, okay, this is now completed, here's where our goals are, then bring those goals back to the facilities committee meetings and say, here's what we've identified for the next 3 years as these. But this in and of itself is kind of locked for a reason. It's so that we go through the iterative process to make sure that it's not like a living document. It sounds like a good idea. The problem is that can get out of control very quickly with somebody changing one value. This is actual ROM that we're providing from engineering documents, right? So when you look at a number like 1.097, there's actual math and data coming from that 1.097, right? It's called a order of magnitude, right? So our engineers have to lock in.
So did you start streaming yet, Adrian? Okay, so we are officially like in the meeting.
Yeah, so I don't, this shouldn't be a fault. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Where do you get the expected like rate system?
So typically AIA documents depend, or if there's other specifics, so if you have a 30-year roof life, that I can work backwards on that, right? And usually if it's 30-year warranty on a life of a roof, it's going to be set at 31 years. Sometimes then we can some districts say, no, I have a 30-year roof, I want to say it's 40. All those are variables that we set up. Right, yeah, within reason, right? Because it's all what it is. Yeah. But what we try to do, and this was getting back to Dr. Herrera's point, is what we try to do is approach it from that same lens, that same perspective. So what we do year to year, and it's great if your administration is working to kind of highlight this, and Don did a really good job of trying to knock some of these things out. Now we have to take that back and say, okay, does it really affect this line that we share with the committee, or does it just reduce it? So eliminating or reducing it, right? Because if it said repair brick and they repair brick on 10%, well, then how do we modify that to the budgets to make sure we're presenting it appropriately so that dashboard actually makes sense? If we're not updating those ROMs and we're not updating that back end information, that modeling is useless for you, right? You gotta be able to actually track this, and And no, unfortunately, nobody could tell how much inflation rate would actually affect this 2 years ago when a lot of that was built, so.
So some of the stuff like replace outside air damper, an existing RTU, that's being done through their current renovations too. So even though it's on that list,
Right,
we need someone to
right.
own that list and.
And that's where site logic engineers come in and say, okay, let's work with us, and let's work with your crews and say, okay, here's what we accomplished, here's what we did. Right, so the nice thing is that's part of the service we provide to you as part of ESA. It's not a build service in addition to anything else. It's just what we're doing.
So what would the next step be with that list? Because if there's a number of different things that are in process right through the renovation and what we've done previously.
We'll probably kick that off in the spring, getting engineers actually re-engaged in the spring on that and update all of those numbers, because right now our priority is making sure that the stuff we need for your budget cycle is getting that focus on in December, January, right?
We decide which things get done when. I mean. Those are recommendations that we're getting on here.
Correct. So what we're giving you in December, and this is part of the discussion here, what we're gonna be presenting you in December is what the JOC asked for 2 months ago, which is data on the generator. The load bank test is happening next Tuesday out here. Generator data and the details on the roof study. So what you will have on December 7th is a side-by-side of what the roof study looked like 2 years ago and what it looks like today. And it shows that increased water penetration in other areas, and there's actually open tickets and machining right now. And as part of the annex roof that's failing. So that'll give you a little more intelligence data, so that way it'll help you guide that decision. So
And we
we'll be
talked,
here on
Casey,
the
so we want that, but we also want to see that master plan and where that fits in with the master plan so that the board can identify priorities through different areas and needs too. So somehow sooner than later, we have to get that master stuff. See where those two things that you just mentioned fit in that as a priority or not. And so they can see the entirety, the big picture.
Yeah, the issue is that priority. The priority is kind of already. So I'm not sure we would be able to get, I know we can't get that master plan completely updated with ROMs by December 7th. That's 2 weeks away, right? That is a process that takes about 2.5 months of engineers coming out, evaluating things and working with contractors and getting your new numbers. It takes a long time to get that process moving. What was identified walking into this last year is what's identified still right now. So we will share what has been identified for next year. I hear what you're saying, and we're pushing to get your master plan updated for you using the data that Don was collecting and you, Dr. Herrera, on that Google Sheet, and get that updated into your hands in the spring so that your future years are mapped out. Right?
So what we had
Just
on
two
that
different
sheet,
processes.
yeah, we're color coded.
Yeah.
You know, and from what I remember is what we can do is, I guess these 3 projects now were, color coded as more critical. So these are the ones we're gonna look at for this year. We can start getting prices and stuff for the next year's one a little earlier, but we don't need to get prices for everything down the list at this point because.
We have this. Suggestion is once we have the numbers, we communicate those to the sending districts. Right? Yeah. But the roof is one thing. That's a repair and maintenance thing, and the generator is really brings up the standard. We should position those 2 completely different activities. Roof got that. Just got to have it. And the generator, well, we risk having a freezing food. Or not hurt it. Repairs and maintenance. It is one thing, and basically just got it.
Oh,
The other stuff.
we're gonna prioritize things, that's what the board's gonna have to do.
Sooner the sending district, but definitely in the budget, that way. There's a way for us to approve, get things started. So that's.
Yeah, we're not just gonna write them a check next year for $9 million, the whole total cost of that list and say, do it. That's
Absolutely. Well, there's gonna be things that naturally aren't going to make sense, right? When you forecast a 5-year plan, you expect parking lots to fail at a certain point. Sometimes that happens faster, sometimes that doesn't happen at all, right? Like, we've had a pretty light winter in the past 2. But of everybody, I've known Mr. Hollowell the longest, and I know he'd look at me and say.
I'm gonna save
"We're gonna
everybody
have
this
snow."
year, and I'm gonna buy a snow blower.
Yeah,
So that we're
yeah,
guaranteed to have snow if I buy a snow.
But all kidding aside, right, like we've been lucky where asphalt isn't decaying as fast. You are also in a market condition right now. You're gonna be a little unsure about potentially anything that's a derivative or a core component of petroleum, right? Asphalt is a gigantic petroleum aspect, so you want to be careful about, okay, do we really have to do this next year? Do we position this we will give you all of that data once our engineers go back through that and update it. I think that's the key. Back to Mr. Shermer's point last time is where is this kind of right now? That what that doesn't do is document all of the floor plans. We can show you what we're doing with other districts in my site IQ, which is really getting into pulling all of the other data and looking at a floor map and saying, okay, what temperature is it when we collect this and we use data loggers? So that we can actually track this visually and say, this is why we have to focus on air conditioning over here. Here's your CO2 levels indoors during heating and air conditioning. This is why we have to worry about fresh air intakes, right? So, and it's using that kind of building intelligence and building it in so that you have a dashboard, to Mr. Shermer's point, that all of you have the data to be able to go support that with all of your board members back at the voting districts, because ultimately it's a full vote budget, right? Okay, so now the official, read. Ready, Mr. Spear?
Yep,
Okay,
he's been recording you the whole time anyway, so.
that's good. I'm used to it. All right, so good evening, everybody. One of the big things that we're gonna be talking about is just culinary arts expansion project. As you can, a lot of you have probably seen when you're getting food. We're down to the final general construction items being completed right now, so we are within that target. That punch list process for the instructional spaces starts next week. So what that means is we're getting that key turned over to SiteLogic by the general contractor saying, hey, let's go through this with a fine tooth comb. Let's find all of those final punch lists for general construction and electrical. Electrical inspection, final electrical inspection has been scheduled. They were able to land all the wires into the new walk-in box. Walk-in box was started to be constructed last week. Just checked on it again. We have all electric run through it. It's in a sealed state. So now we have a door leading into it from inside. So that is actually right on target. Our hope and our goal is to get that commissioned still yet this month, which we're pretty much still on target for. So this was the updated timeline that we shared with you in August when we got that final permit approval from Bedminster. We're able to just kind of push everything a little bit forward. So we're going to be working with your administrative team, your facilities team here to work through the final cleaning aspects and the final FF&E, right? The furniture, fixtures, and equipment aspects. Not a ton is from our side, so it's more about working with Tony and the team up here to really make sure that all hands are on deck and we're getting the stuff cleaned and ready to be turned over.
Did we sign off on that somewhere?
The JOC committee?
No, not the JOC.
Yeah.
Somebody's administrative.
100%, yes. So when we're going through that, we actually have final sign-offs. Yeah, we're at like a 65-70% right now. That's something that Tony, myself, and Dr. Herrera and all my commissioning team, we have a commissioning team that'll come in and make sure that all of those pieces are signed. So yeah, there are legal documents that take care of all of that to make sure that we're all on the same page. So all is well. One of the big things that we're going to be discussing at the first separate facilities committee meeting here, which is actually December 7th, is the amendment 2 for the Giza project. As we were just discussing, as some of you were coming in, that's really boiled down, and these were identified in August as the generator replacement for the main building, which is just out there. It's now dark, you can't see it. The roof repairs replacement in the annex building, and then the annex chiller compressor replacement, which is a fractional of concern compared to those other two items. The biggest pieces that we're getting right now is data, enhanced data. So what the facilities committee will receive on December 7th is a side-by-side comparison and review of the roof study that occurred 2 years ago when we flew the drones 2 years ago. Now we have current drone footage from 2 months, 45 days ago, 60 days ago, actually, almost that. So you'll actually see kind of comparison and what has happened in the past 2 years, right? We've had a lot of pretty heavy rainstorms, hurricane remnants that probably affected some of your roof conditions. So we want you to see that, so you're accessing, you're leveraging data. The generator data will be collected next Tuesday. They're actually doing a load bank test out here while there's no students in the building, there's staff in the building. It's really a non-impactful test. But just in case, they're gonna put that under load so that we can show, okay, we can't even run this generator at 100%. The fuel capacity, the income and fuel line was spent wrong 21 years ago, 20 years ago, right? So, not enough propane coming in, input output issue, right? And then plus your over capacity just on the design aspect as well. So when you fix it and you replace a 20-year generator, you want to fix it right? That's end of story. Barn upgrade maintenance items were moved out of Giza because it was kind of a square peg round hole. It wasn't really a Giza element. I think Dr. Herrera has been meeting with the advisory committees from that. We stand ready to assist in a contracted version, just not under Giza. It's just a different type of project. So we would be there for design or consultation or project management, depending on what direction you guys go. Again, next JOC Facilities Committee meeting, I have to apologize in advance. I love the idea. I was one of the advocates to having a separate meeting, but on December 7th, I will actually be marching in the Pearl Harbor Parade in Hawaii, in Air Force uniform next to my daughter. So it's a terrible excuse if I made it up, but I clearly didn't make that up.
You're not gonna be zooming in either, right? You're not gonna be zooming in.
No, depending on what time it is, I will literally be in the parade because 5 hours, right? -5. So, yeah, it's at, 5:45, it's gonna be, 13:45 our time over there and gonna be kind of busy. So, it's exciting. It's cool to actually get marched next to my daughter. So, but it's a terrible excuse, but I will be here for all the following ones. You'll end up having Andy Cesare for my team. So those of you that know him from Penridge, he's literally my partner in what we do every day. And Rose and a couple other members of our team. We're also going to ask one of the roofing specialists that gave us some consulting engineering time to come in, just so you have kind of a different roofing perspective on that as well. All right. That is about 22 minutes, so Mr. Spear is more than on time, unless you have any questions.
No, and I mean, not until we really start getting that data in. I think one thing that we should do for the facilities is get introduced to Tony or Anthony. Dr. Herrera.
Okay, Adrian, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, ooh, gotta plug the cable in. So we'd like to introduce Anthony Ray. We have a presentation. If you saw the grounds, they look beautiful. We wish we could have put spotlights on there, impeccable during the open house too, and tonight. Thank you, Adrian. And then I just gotta get screen sharing loud when you're ready. So without further ado, Anthony. And you brought a. Yes.
I guess that's it. That's reach.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
How you doing, everyone? So, as Mike said, Chris, I'm Anthony, we're known as Tony. Ray, I'm with C&J Environmental. I also have Joe with me. Joe is actually Charlie, is the owner of the company. Joe is his son. He's helped us with the presentation as well as he's on the co-op program. So I'll talk a little bit about that.
Want to come to the podium, Joe? You want to stand up?
Is Tony over there or should I stay here?
No, you got a microphone near you. You can
Either
go
one,
to
whatever you
either
want.
one.
All right. Not the best public speaker, so be nice, please. I've heard stories, so let's get. So as you know, C&J Environmental has been doing the cleaning here for some time, okay? All positive feedback so far. We've got a great staff on the cleaning side. Next.
So with that,
Yeah.
it's not only okay, but it's excellent. So we've had some times when we had some difficulties, et cetera, but the staff 100. George, Mr. Dietrich, cleaning, they have someone here during the day. Mrs. Kukas, who had some complaints in the past about the bathrooms being cleaned, rearranged the schedule. And it's awesome, and it's been that good. And Mr. Sherman mentioned the importance of managing vendors, and we take that very, very seriously, developing those relationships. So that's how we started with the cleaning component, and it's incredible, has been great.
That's something, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, we've tweaked the scheduling with that, personnel, stuff like that. It's worked out great. So now we're kind of migrating over to, I guess you could say, to the maintenance department. That's where I come in. So few things that I've implemented or we've implemented since we've gotten here is organizing training, and then I'll talk about a little bit about resources we have. So from an organizing standpoint, obviously we lost 2 people in one shot. We lost Don and Craig, and it was out right now. So, you know, we had 1 full-time, 1 part-time. So some of the resources we have at our disposal is, 1, we can move staffing around. So we pulled, for example, Freddie over from the cleaning side to the maintenance side. We're taking the part-timer. The part-timer didn't really have a lot of structure. I guess he was given, you know, certain tasks to do, but that was it. So what we've implemented is kind of cross-training everybody. Okay, so I've gotten a little more rigid schedules set for everybody, you know, is when they're staggered in, what they're doing, time management, stuff like that. I'm a very efficient person. I'm very impatient. So I like to be very efficient. So I'm trying to get everybody with set schedules and basically, you know, maximize the day. Because what I'm learning since I've been here is, you know, we have the FMX system. It's another thing, we're funneling everybody through that. So that's how we can account for our time, what we're doing, you know, helps with our efficiency. So everybody has done a great job getting everything through FMX. And then I think completing tasks has definitely improved. We've gotten things done a lot quicker. Any projects that have been taking for a while, whether it's ice machines or
Lockers.
you know, lockers, things like that have been pending for months, we've completed. All right, trying to get, because you don't know what the next day is gonna, you know, it could be a slow day, it could be a busy day. So I don't like to keep things on my plate. So getting everybody cross-trained has been very important. Going back to I'm jumping around a little, going back to resources, you know, we moved Freddie over to our side to help out on the maintenance, especially during times where you have like the auctioneer here, who takes up a lot of the maintenance time, just with moving things in and out, organizing, rearranging, finding, stuff like that. We were able to bring people in to support us. So things like going to support myself. You have me obviously in the role here 5 days a week. We also have Pat. Pat is a gentleman that's off-site, but he's more on the technical side. So if I need him, he's here. He's already been here quite a few times to help me out with a few things. And of course, you have Charlie and that Joe. Oh, right over here. Oh, we moved over here. Sorry, I forgot he was sitting over here. Standing over here. So Joe is again, he's a student. He's part of the co-op program, and he's really been a big help to us.
So there's no increase to what we paid for, so that contract that we've written allowed people to help, not stealing your thunder.
No.
ABC,
Good.
to maximize it. So we have an open house, everyone's out, we have no one. On the weekend, they can bring a crew of, I don't know how many brought in, 6, 7 people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done by Monday. Associated Builders and Contractors gave a really, we don't have the pictures, but so much donations. They brought how many trucks? 2, 3 trucks?
4, 3 or 4, yeah. So
We went with- Who else? Your dad?
Yeah,
there's just 3 other big guys.
and then, yeah, 3 other,
So they're able to bring that crew down, get that stuff, get it back here. Mr. Shrinko's not in here, but we got those donations, would have took forever to get. They actually use your own truck and everything,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, so yeah, to your point, like we got a lot of stuff. Again, the auctioneer took up a lot of time. So we moved the landscaping to a weekend. It was easy, brought a crew in, got it all done in one swoop. And with the ABC project, we got it done in, was it 1 day or 2?
Total, I think 3.
Okay, 3. All right, so it was 3 days versus trying to, it was a lot of inventory. So versus trying to, spread the
We
maintenance.
thank
department
AC
over-
for all those donations.
Yeah, trying to spread it over a couple of weeks. The only thing I had really was that staffing's been great. Mike's been very supportive, everyone else, very, very supportive, getting, the transition to this side. What I call an organized playbook is just that, there was a lot of people and a lot of resources, but it really wasn't in one spot. So I kind of just started organizing my own contact list, my own, schedules, things like that. And these guys have been great and supporting this. That's actually pictures of ABC after probably half of it was cleaned out.
Actually, the one on the left was from the first day.
No, okay. So again, they donated quite a bit of stuff.
So all the rest of that, all that racking, everything's coming here?
Not the racking.
Okay.
It's most of the stuff that was on the shelves and in the job boxes.
Mr. Linden donated, and he's here, he had an air conditioner, right, and donated. And so it was an employee from Penridge, we called Penridge, we got in touch with Anthony. Mr. Linden, that came over how quickly?
Days, that,
Right away.
yeah, in
And then-
48 hours.
And then there was a part 2, because you donated something else, right?
Yeah.
And you called us from the parking lot and you said, I got something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were able to be efficient, get things done. And we
Yeah.
appreciate the Penridge, who was that? The supervisor, building and grounds, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Kelly?
Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly Harper, he donated that, and, so we got it, thank you, Mr. Linden, that was a wonderful donation.
That's okay.
And it's awesome to see one of our students being able to come in through a co-op, and you're Mr. Crawford's construction technology class, right? So he's preparing you for all of that maintenance. So you
What
feel
year are
like,
you?
I'm a senior.
And he was already on co-op, and this is due no additional cost for the school.
yeah, so this has helped reinforce those skills, right?
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So-
Are you gonna take over your dad's business at some point? Is that your plan? Yeah?
Charlie's gonna go another. You kidding me?
Yeah, I don't see your dad retiring anytime soon.
Well, I had a question then, with the FMXs, were you able to locate all of the PMs in there, the preventative maintenance jobs, were they all up to date? And, have you been able to catch up on at least finding what needs to be done for all of those?
Correct, yes. So obviously we're efficiently getting through all the current ones, but yeah, I've been going back through a lot of the older ones. And we're working on those.
But it
Because
was
of
all,
that-
everything was documented in FMX, so
Yeah,
you're
we're
good,
and-
okay. good.
Exactly, and I got everybody, what I like about the FMX system is just the communication part of it, you know what I mean? Like, I'll put in every FMX I close out, obviously gets commented. Ben, who's been a pretty good resource for us, because he's been doing a lot of training with the other guys. He's very good with documenting and organizing his notes in there and stuff like that, so we can get constant communication, because a lot of projects, I think, were taking a while. But you just need to communicate with whoever's involved, like I use the ice machine in exercise science as an example. If you just keep everybody in the loop on what's going on, then they don't feel like, okay, well, this has been sitting here for 2 months, why is it not done yet? Just tell them why. So not only do I verbally go and talk to that teacher or call them, I also go through the FMX system and then they get notified.
Because of
But
staffing, a lot of the preventative maintenance
And the
has
prevent- yeah.
been on the to-do list, but we will be attacking that.
Yeah.
And we have to be very, very strategic, because part of a good maintenance plan is not doing and just having contractors coming in all the different times. So we have to do some work with the partitions up here and saying, okay, $5,000 for a company doing it, or find the scissor lift through our asset inventory, see if we could do that internally. So that's a $700 job versus $5,000
Yeah.
job. And so they jumped on it right away. They got it,
Already got the quote to fix our high lift. So that should be done shortly, and yeah, we're going, like you said, we're gonna attack the soffit situation, internally. It's a lot cheaper. But yeah, and I will be looking more into the preventative side of things as well.
No, I just wanted to make sure you had the
Yep.
work orders and everything has been, kept up to date, so you're able to
Yes,
identify those.
for the most
projects,
part,
yeah.
yes, it's been up to date and it's been pretty well organized.
Okay,
Uh,
good. And then I have one more question, and this one, Casey may even need to jump in on. With the building management system. I know there was some issues that a lot of that stuff still needed to be manually controlled. And that is somewhat supposed to be being upgraded or at least added to with this new project here. So
You talking about the HVAC?
where will the training take place
Yeah.
on there and how will that?
Yes, so the tail end of this project is the replacement of the controllers of your building management system. It's not a redesign of your building management. system,
Okay.
But it's the first step into trying to get you into a more automated state, right? So once the front end is in place, right, we're working with those vendors right now to replace your controllers in that front end. Then we can start doing that training and seeing what needs to happen.
Okay,
We're also working with that integrator to get a service contract with that company so that if there's an issue, it's not relying only on, one person, you have somebody else to call and say, hey, look, this isn't
Well,
working.
and that's all I wanted to make sure is that, when that training comes in, that it's done by, more than one person. So like, it's not just all on one person's shoulders then and.
Yeah, and I've already been working with Worth and Company as well. He came, had Alex and them come in. The current system, he gave me basically an overview of the system. Him and I have been working very closely to make sure everything's okay. I know certain things were, I guess with the HVAC system, micromanaged, I guess you could say, not in a bad way, just Don had a lot of control and knew how to do it. So now it's been set back to a more, this automated system, but
Yeah.
we're also watching it. I'm also learning, like I said, with Alex
Okay,
over Worth and Company until things, I guess,
change.
change. Exactly, until it changes, just for what I have in place now,
Yeah,
we can get by and it's working out pretty well.
So you had access to all the different vendors. I know, I think Tracy and Melissa Nice have really been helping you with the
Yes.
purchase racks.
Yep.
Access to the companies when we had the occupational advisory committee. Mr. Yates, who did a lot of the electrical, has been on site. We said, hey, can we please bring you down?
Yeah.
To that night, because he has the knowledge, historical knowledge of all the electrical, et cetera. So that's been, I think, really helpful too.
Yeah, I've already had a couple, getting used to the process, but yeah, already had a couple vendors in for culinaries, electrical. So I have two, Dwayne Spons and Dave Yates, and got the ball rolling with that, so we can get that resolved.
and I saw on our regular agenda, there was a dump truck donated. Is that going to our maintenance department then, or is that?
No, I think that's a diesel.
A diesel, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if we need a dump truck. I
yeah,
guess it would be cool to drive around in a dump truck, but.
yeah.
So that's pretty
It's
much
on
all.
our
I have.
donations
I
list,
didn't see it.
yeah.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
Okay, anyone have any
Any other
questions?
questions, concerns? All right,
It's nice
thank
meeting
you
you both.
guys. Nice to meet everybody and be here and show you how to take out. Thanks.
Okay, so we have, the art dinner, we're still waiting, and the facilities committee survey, what he mentioned is scheduled for the first Thursday on December 7th. And that's a report for buildings and grounds.
Okay,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
just in time for David Kahn to get here with his dinner. To go into executive session. We will start with the pledge.
One page of your. And it will be.
Okay, Ms. Cram, could we do the roll call, please?
Mr. Spear,
Here,
Oh, I'm sorry, here, I didn't, you have to talk louder.
Samantha Clemens, here. Mr. Hallowell,
I am here.
Dr. Ott. Mr. Shermer. Mr. Rice.
Here.
Ms. Bloomgarden,
here.
Mr. Post.
We do not. Okay. So we will then move on to our recognition and comments from the audience on agenda items. Does anyone have any public comments on agenda items? Seeing none in the room, I will look on Zoom to see if there's any in the chat. I don't see any there. We did have an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel matters. And now we'll move on to the administrative reports, and we'll start with the executive director's report and Dr. Herrera.
Okay, if I can, Mrs. Pakula and Mrs. Walk present the student of the month, please.
We'd like to present to you Elizabeth Sani. Thank you. Elizabeth is a student in our automotive technology program at Quakertown Community High School senior. In addition to excelling in her studies, since May of 2023, she has been in our cooperative education program at Cunningham's Automotive Repair in Huntsville, where she has made a significant impact in her role as service advisor. Elizabeth greets the customers and writes up the repair orders for their vehicles that are in for service. After the technicians inspect the car, she gets the repair order back, prepares an estimate, calls the customer, and sells the necessary repairs. Her time in the auto shop turning wrenches gives her the mechanical knowledge to explain the required repairs to the customer adequately. Liz's dedication to commitment to her craft are evident in her impressive list of industry certifications, including Subaru level 1 certified, Mopar Caps level 0, Valvoline motor oil credentials, SP2 communication skills training, OSHA 10 certified, and Lift It Right training. Her classroom and workplace achievements showcase her remarkable skills and potential. Liz's aspirations extend beyond the automotive industry, and she is determined to pursue a business degree while continuing in her career in this field. Liz's passion, work ethic, and ambitious goals make her a shining example of the talent and drive within our student body. She has become a role model for other students and always offers to help to anyone who needs it. I proudly recognize her as Student of the Month for her exceptional achievements and bright future.
And then
she's awesome. I mean, for 17, pretty refreshing to see a young person that has a drive like her. I've had a lot of employees over the years. She could teach a whole bunch of them a lot of things. Just the work ethic, coming to work on time, not afraid to pick up the phone, not afraid to learn something new. Teaches me because I'm an old dog. I'm the technology on cars. I have technology on a desk, not so much. But she's amazing. We really hope to keep her with us. She's been brought up right. Family did a great job putting her up. And she just, she's a great kid and people really like talking to her. So you guys are doing a really good job.
Mr. Cunningham, you're a long-time member of the OIC. I see you're hiring again as a technician and maybe also getting another co-op student.
Yeah, we're actually getting another co-op student, young guy, Riley, and we're pretty excited.
Did you say 27?
It's 27th of this month. Yeah.
Oh,
Keep your students here. No, honestly, if I get young people, I've always been a mentor. I was a mentor with Toyota. I always had a student on my team as a tech. It's really important. The old guys would always say, "Oh, you're going to teach yourself out of a job." Well, that's no way. There's always something to learn. It's always changing. And I think, young people, we have such a shortage in our business right now. It's over 75,000 base shortage. So, wait times are getting long for getting your car in. It depends, on the shop, but it's a real problem in our industry. And it's getting worse because us old guys that have been doing it for years, we're retiring. So we need to get young people into this business. She's an example. It doesn't have to be a wrench in the hand. And there's lots of jobs in this industry. And they all pay good. Right now, a good A-Tech, the guy that knows it all, he's making good money. And they demand good money.
Well, and that's why Mark likes to have them coming right out of tech school, because he can teach them, before they get bad habits, before they, teach them the way you want to teach them and doing it the right way the first time. So it's a good start for them. And then I think we also said too, we need to start them out earlier, learning about the trades. But you're starting to see a shift, I think, in the next maybe 5 years. So, but we're thrilled to have Elizabeth.
Yeah,
She's bailed me out many mornings. I'm trying to put that on the computer and, can I tell one cute story?
Oh,
Yeah, okay, we're trying to describe the generation gap. It's funny. She one day was trying to explain a customer to me, and she said, she turns around and I said, she's got a little bit of a beard. I said, is it like a 5 o'clock shadow? She goes, what is that? It's like, we love.
Yeah, she's awesome. And just, young kids today, the technology, they have it. You know what I mean? Like we're nuts and bolts guys, us old guys, but the young people, there's so much technology in cars today. And honestly, a good A-Tech is he's making $100,000 a year. It takes a lot of knowledge. It's not just nuts and bolts and greasing.
But it's also good because she gives us hope for the future.
Yeah.
We actually call her our unicorn because they don't exist anymore.
Well, it's funny that you should say unicorn because the way everything happened was pretty crazy. So Mark, I know Mark from Toyota because I own my own business. I sold a lot of stuff to Fred's Diesel. So I do Mark from the shop. So he comes in my first meeting and I'm like, that guy looks familiar. So we start talking and that we know each other. And he says, oh yeah, I do the NOC tests. I come in, I'm one of the proctors. It was him and 1 or 2 other guys. So I'm like, so he comes in my first NOC, I'm all nervous. He's doing great. Everything's going good. I'm like, awesome. So now we're rolling around to the second one. And I pick up the phone and I call him. And he's like, oh, now I'm really sorry. He goes, you're not gonna believe this, but I don't have anybody at the desk. I have to answer the phones. I have to write up the estimates. I have to do this. I have to do that. There's no way I'm going to be able to help you. I'm so sorry. So I'm just grabbing a guy that he kind of half trained at the last minute, right? And I'm figuring, okay, I'll make this work. And I started thinking in each class, AM and PM, I pick a student that I think would be really good, just for a lot of different reasons. And they're the service advisor. So Elizabeth was the service advisor in one class, and then in the morning we have Dylan from Palisades. And so I said to him, you're not gonna believe this, but I have a service advisor that you could hire. And so I go, there's only one problem, she doesn't have a car. So then the phone rings the next day, right? Where is she? Mom, the phone rings the next day, right? This teacher called up and he says, hey, listen, do you have any really good students that need a car? Because I had this car, I'll sell it really cheap. I just want to make sure it goes to the right person. So I called Mom, right? Next thing you know, they got the car, she got the job, they're rolling along. And so it's funny how it all worked out. And then now my morning guy, who's doing really good from Palisades, he goes out, Monday is his meeting. He's a service advisor at Thompson Lexus, he starts. And they've never had a co-op service advisor in 54 years of business. So times are changing, right?
Yep, we have Riley start too. Since we've got one of the.
Yeah, her classmate is gonna be turning wrenches, so she'll be writing up the tickets and handing them to somebody. That's the man out of here.
Elizabeth, do you miss turning wrenches? Do you want to get dirty sometimes and get in there?
She's looking 2 days a week,
Yeah,
so.
We also plan on it. Like that's what we had originally talked about. And I said, what drew you to automotive? And she was honest. She says, I want to learn how to work on my own cars and save some money. I mean, which was again refreshing. And, we said, we're gonna start working on, getting into the technical part of it. So
She does a great job on camera at 17.
she does.
I always say she's like 17 in a 25-year-old body. Seriously, I mean, she's got wisdom beyond her years. So it's pretty refreshing, actually, to see. So, and I had another young guy we hired. He was at a secondary education. He actually went to the college I went to, so I moved. And same thing. He's not that much older. How old's Tom? 22, 22. He just moved down to North Carolina, but he came in at his first day. He was like 19, I think, and we ran out of work for him. And I looked back in the shop, and he's sweeping the floors and taking the trash out. I'm like, what? Like I didn't even have to ask him to do that. So the keeper, yes. So things are looking.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Including us.
Nice handshake.
Okay, cute story. We were working on this and I saw her shake a hand and she goes like this. I said, okay, you need to. Now she does the handshake.
Yeah.
It's a bar business, right?
Elizabeth, do you want to say anything?
That's fun. You nervous when you say it, or were you just ready?
Nervous.
Yeah.
They are really great people, so it made it a lot easier and very good.
Tell them what happened when they found out that you won. What they do at work.
Take care.
Team, takes a team.
Mom, do you want to say anything?
Well, so she has now been going to an online school. She was a Quakertown student up until like last year's time. She had to do a paper and her paper was about her, an essay or whatever. It was about going to spec school and how it changed her look, her outlook, I guess, right, on school.
Yeah.
She really did her homeschool and here she really likes it here. So.
And if anybody's ever seen the video of the whole school. He's the one talking in one moment.
Yeah, so it's nice. So she's here. There's I have a son here that's in welding, so we'll probably see those two coming up too, so. Yeah.
You didn't get the red hair. You guys didn't get the red- Are you the only one that didn't?
My older two brothers have
Yeah.
it, but you're deaf.
Okay, thank you all. Yes, Mr. Trinko, you want to stay up? So the program of the month is Mr. Trinko. All of those donations that you see out there, he's gotten. So we used to have maybe 2-3 students out on co-op. He's going for the record. How many students in the
Right
class?
now, should be 14, and I'm trying to.
so are you trying to get to the point of where you don't have any afternoon class students?
See, I'm glad you asked that question because. She has 2 meetings next week for AM cars.
Oh, wow.
Which is usually highly unusual
Yeah.
because the time frame is shortened. So, but we were able to make it.
In your co-op, you usually have a couple days a week where they're still coming back and.
1 or 2 days, Elizabeth
Yeah.
is 2.
Yeah.
It's all based on what the teacher, thinks and decides.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Trinko has 40 years in the automotive industry, demonstrating profound knowledge and skills in various aspects of the field. He since May of 2017, he worked post-secondary. It's very hard. There's 2 skill sets. One is a technician, but one as a teacher. What really impressed me when I met Mr. Shrinko was that teaching ability. He was a service and parts manager at Quakertown Peruzzi Mitsubishi, master technician in automotive repair. He's got leadership. That's what we hire here as a teacher, as a workforce development. There's so much more to it. He has that leadership ability and skills. Team management, customer satisfaction. It's not by accident or by design that his students present themselves the way they do. And he's an entrepreneur, owning his own business, et cetera. Many of our students will do that. He had many roles earlier and he has received a lot of accolades, such as the Nissan President's Club Award, Mitsubishi Diamond Chapter of Excellence, reflecting his excellence in the automotive field. His student placements include Berge Chevy, Berge Ford, Berge Buick, GMC, Fred Beans Subaru, A&T Subaru, Fred Beans Cadillac, GMC, Sioka Ford, Sands Chrysler, on and on and on. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's by design. An effective teacher mirrors the workplace, but understands the value of getting those students out and fine tuning that. And so although those students are out there, make no mistake about it, when they come back, he's still guiding them. These are hazardous occupations, which we can never forget, that the students, and so teaching that safety. We're glad to have you, Mr. Shrinko. Your donations that you've received, your excellence, since you started in April, not that long ago, of last year, have really impressed me and the entire community. So, Mr. Shrinko, congratulations. You want to say something, but I'm not going to say that because I know you have a lot to say, and a good one.
Oh, boy. So, and one of the things he said on and on, Cunningham was in there.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be.
And a couple other, yes, you know, being a small business owner, when I met, Mark, I was selling stuff to Fred Beans and Sioka and Thompson and all them, because I was in the automotive aftermarket. And so not only did I know him through the business, but I knew him through my business. And ended up going to work for Peruzzi because we became friends because I sold him a whole bunch of stuff. So that's how that worked out. But I want to just talk a little bit about our Subaru program. So the reason that we got the cars, because I know anybody that walked by, that's some pretty fancy stuff. Air conditioned seats, heated steering wheels, turbochargers, all-wheel drive. Those are some very, very expensive cars. They're not the cheap one that you see when it says starts at MSRP, whatever. Those are on the top of the scale. So it isn't just the certifications and giving them the confidence to go out there. It's the placement. The reason those cars are there is because we did so well percentage-wise with the number of students that we have, that we were able to help them achieve level 1 status. That when I made the call at the end of the school year, went through my list and called A&T Subaru, Sioka, the Corvette shop in Doylestown. That was one of where we put independent shop where we put one of our students. When I did that, it was unbelievable, because when they would go in and you know, show them their certification that they were certified, right away the money changes. So they come in and instead of signing somebody up and trying to get into all the modules, they come in, they're already certified. They're like Subaru has 4 levels. They come in level 1. And now we just added Lexus and Toyota this July. We had everybody here. We had a big meeting. So we're trying to do the same thing there, because Toyota and Lexus have this, it's called TEX. That's what we're part of now. So the standard TEX programs with the high school goes to the next level of post-secondary, where you go to 2 years of advanced Toyota and Lexus training. We're going down to Philadelphia tomorrow to the closest school, which is a community college of Philadelphia, to look at that advanced program to try to make a connection there so that the students have that option of taking it to the next level before. At that point, now you're entering a Toyota or Lexus dealer, like not that far away from being a master tech. So that's something where they would have to decide. But as we get successful and we certify the Toyota and Lexus students, and they do it all. They do Mopar caps, they do Ford, it's what they pick, what they really like. And of course, you know, Toyota being new and Lexus, everybody's like, oh, you know, I want to do that because that's the brand new one. You know, we did Subaru last year. So, but So the best part about it is. We're gonna do the same thing that we did using the model with Subaru with Toyota and Lexus. So they were here for the OAC meeting and they had corporate people here and they said that if we can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then we'll take you from text training to text elite status. When we become a text elite high school, there's only a few of those in the United States, high schools. We get cars. So that would be awesome. Because teaching them Toyota and Lexus and then taking them outside and making them work on a Subaru, it's a whole different animal. So, so that's what we're working towards doing that. But the students have been great. I love coming to work every day, you know, working with Elizabeth and a lot of the other students. I'm now up to 4 female students. And Elizabeth came down with her mom for open house and some of the AM girls were there and they were like, they're like, oh, this is the one that she's out on co-op and everything. And so they were kind of following around and listening to what she had to say. And, you know, it isn't just, you know, the boys club now that, you know, a lot of the females are getting, you know, are starting to get more and more involved. I mean, think about it, you know, AM and PM 4. So that's, I have 40 students, 4 of them are female. Next year it could be 8, could be 10, right? So that's good. That's what we're trying to do, you know, to be diverse. So. Does anybody have any questions for me about the programs or anything? Yeah.
I had a question. Did the students have to choose like a pathway almost like what we're doing in the school districts? In the beginning, like, did they have to choose, I want to go Subaru or I want to go Toyota or I want to go Mopar?
They choose a position with the Mrs. Pakula, what's the SIP-SOC form, you know what I'm talking about, where they put what they want to be a service writer, they want to be a manager. What's the name of that form?
The occupational objective form?
Yes, they fill out an occupational objective form. And then they're required to do Mopar, they're required to do Subaru, they're required to do Toyota, Lexus. They can't just pick one.
So they're gonna come out with all of,
Well, they
essentially
have to
all of
work,
these certifications?
they have to work a little bit in each one. And then when they decide, oh, hey, this is really what I want to, because we bring in Subaru guys, we bring in Toyota, Lexus guys, we bring in people from Mopar, you know, Chrysler. We have 2 co-op students. Right now, Quakertown just put, I just put a morning AM student over at Sands. This is a unique situation. So you have a student who goes in there in the morning and he's turning wrenches, right? Then everybody stops to go to lunch. And as he's walking out, the PM student from Quakertown walks in. So what do those 2 students make? 1 full-time employee.
Yeah.
So now you're not just giving them part-time co-op student, you're giving them a lift where somebody's turning wrenches all day. And they have their Mopar certifications. Which is awesome. So they basically, they have to do a little bit of everything. And if they say, hey, I really want to, this guy that's starting from Quakertown, starting at Thompson Toyota, he really wanted to do Toyota Lexus.
So you have to then choose to focus on the ones.
I do, yeah, if that's where they're gonna go work.
Yeah.
But I would prefer over the course of 4 years, they should be able to get Toyota, Lexus, they should be able to get Subaru and a lot of Mopar too. So they could leave in 4 years with all of their certifications. Can you imagine going in for a job saying, level 1 Subaru certified, I'm Toyota Lexus certified, I'm Mopar certified, and I'm working on my Ford certification.
Yeah, well, when you go to a big company like Fred Beans that has maybe 3 of those
Sioka, yeah.
dealerships, or Sioka, that has 3 of those dealerships, you then become that much more valuable to the company you're working for.
Yes. So when Sioka came in just recently, they were talking about level 1 certification. So as the teacher, if you're going to teach the modules, you have to do the modules. So I'm level 1 certified with Mopar, I'm Subaru certified. You still have to do all the stuff that the students do. You can't teach it if you don't do it, right? So he saw my level 1 certification for Mopar, which I got at the post-secondary school. And so we're talking, and he said, you know, there's the next level, then the next level. He goes, once you get to the top, so 2 more steps, then you're a master tech with Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep. And he said, let me show you my ad. And so we brought it up on his laptop. $60 an hour to start with a $10,000 signing bonus. You should have seen it. I think I want to do some Mopar training right away. But that just happened to be the guy that was standing there. That doesn't mean that can't be that there can't be a lot of money in you know, Lexus or Toyota or any of the other ones. But yeah, I saw the ad again. I saw it on LinkedIn today. $60 an hour, $10,000 signing bonus after certificates after 6 months, they give you $10,000.
Wow.
So. Certifications, get them ready, they understand the product, they understand how to use all the diagnostic equipment, which is nice. It equates to money, I mean, they go in there. Sands has, well, before this guy just started, Sands has a Quakertown student in the afternoon and a Bethlehem student in the afternoon. And he said, what a difference between the guy that came in already certified that knows all these different things. He's like, well, that's not fair. They don't offer that at my school. He goes, well, here, you're gonna have to do that stuff at home. Now I'll get you signed up. Whereas our guy's doing it when he's in school.
And he made how much more per hour?
Oh, our guy was getting $2.50 more an hour. So the way it works now, he got a raise, so he's doing good. And then when he looks over the car, if he finds a specific thing wrong that they feel he's certified and capable of doing, he gets, there's a word for it and I forget, but he told you when we were talking the other day. So at 17 years old, when he does a rear shock replacement, puts 2 rear shocks in the car, he gets $31 an hour to do it.
Wow.
And he's 17 years old. And isn't allowed to drive the cars because he's 17 years old. And still making $31 an hour. That's not his normal rate. That's when he does specific things.
So that's great. That's what we're all here for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Time what ball he puts on the tee.
Oh,
And one of those balls that has like a shotgun shell in it, and I'm standing there and I hit it, it's got like a bomb going on.
So, Bill Young, Mr. Young went to a Mack Truck Experience. Mrs. Landis and I had a conversation. She said, what a wonderful opportunity, thank you, to learn more about it. So I was talking to Mr. Young, and he says, I have a great student for you. Hallway conversation, day shift, please, Lily, and she goes, I'll do it. And so, without further ado, Miss Lily, we appreciate that.
On October 25th, the Skills USA Council offered District 11 students an opportunity to participate in an industry store at the Mack Truck Experience in Allentown, PA. The Mack Truck Experience was transformed into a new WWE themed arena area sporting 2 new Mack trucks. Those trucks were bugged for the Mack Masters World Competition. The 75+ CTE students were spectators watching a competition between 2 teams were from around the world, including teams from Australia, Chile, Honduras, Ontario, and many US dealerships, including the team from Allentown, the Edgers. Those teams of 4 people included 2 technicians, a parts person, as well as a service writer. Each team had to troubleshoot and diagnose a problem on their assigned truck using Mack software knowledge and skill during a timed event. The students enjoyed watching the teams work together, and it was enlightening for us to see that seasoned technicians can struggle too. The teams had to follow procedures from the software, but it kept leading them in circles until ultimately they had to put their heads together to use the knowledge and experience to solve the problem. We as students also had the opportunity to meet the Allentown team competitor, an alumnus from LCTI class of 2015, who was my teacher's student. We also got the opportunity to explore Mack Trucks Museum, which had a lot of rich history about Mack Trucks. They also had my favorite, a Transformers one. Overall, the Mack experience for the students was unique, seeing the Mack Museum along with the Mack Masters competition, as well as how the networking between the students and the business industry happens. It was for sure an amazing day. Mr. Greg Masters from our diesel technology program took 7 students, and my teacher, Mr. William Young, from our small engine technology, took 8 students, including myself. All the students, including myself, have appreciated this special opportunity and have continued to talk about it since.
good job. So how does the small engines relate to the big trucks? That's why I asked you when you came, are you like gonna switch to, you're gonna get your CDL, switch to diesel now?
So, machines that help build the trucks, they're technically considered small engines. So that's how it relates to the trucks. And the machines that you can use to diagnose the trucks, they're also considered small engines too.
Okay. So it's really interesting though, like.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're very interesting to see them. like the seasoned technicians struggle to figure it out, just so you know, you're not alone in just struggling with that kind of stuff.
Do you think the problems were designed deliberately to have the electronic diagnosis mislead them, like?
I think it probably was.
Yeah.
I think it was to make it harder. The Allentown team won, the Edgers, so that was neat.
Would you say one of the guys that was on the Allentown team was your instructor's student?
Yeah, when he worked at LCTI, he graduated in 2015, the student.
From here?
LCTI.
Oh, okay. And you said the Transformers, what was it, Optimus Prime?
It was a Megatron.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Megatron was the gun, right?
Truck too.
Oh, he's a truck too?
That's why I was like, it has to be Optimus. I gotta look up.
He used to be there.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Any other questions? And thanks, parent. This is your second child that you sent, and we appreciate that, right?
Yes, good there.
Thank you, Stacia.
Thanks.
So we had some occupational advisory committees, 200 members have consulted with our teachers. It was a wonderful day. I'll be respectful of time. Delaware Valley, we had an articulation agreement where our students in baking and culinary get 9 credits each. I toured there, my son who's a senior, it's a wonderful campus. So we're going beyond the community college, not both giving options for Del Val. Wonderful campus. That was a result of a recent tour. And so culinary, our special Olympics, our students went to Villanova University for exercise science, and they participated on that day. Our students received many accolades with it. They really represented the tech school well, like all of our students do. Culinary, I'd like to call Chef Ott, and we'll do some introductions. If you remember, we talked about Angels Sharing the Warmth 1 year ago. And so we wanted to just show you the result of that process. And I'd like to turn over to Chef Ott.
So this is Chrissy from Angel Sharing the Warmth. I'll make a long story short. So last year, the Percy Rotary had reached out with a woman named Beth. And Beth and her husband were very heavily involved in an organization called Angel Sharing the Warmth, where they provide meals to those who don't necessarily have meals at the time. And she came to us, and her husband passed away, and they wanted to do a scholarship in his memorial for one of our culinary students each year. So to kind of give back and make everything full circle, we are collaborating right now where they are receiving food donations and dropping them off with us. And our students are cooking and preparing all the meals, and she is delivering them to those that are in need. So I'm going to turn it over to Chrissy just so she can kind of explain a little bit.
So thank you all, first of all, for just letting us be a part of this school and what you do and what you do. These students that you have here are absolutely amazing. And I met them all at the beginning of November. I met some of them in spurts, and then I met all of them at one time when I came to pick up all the food, 112 meals that they made, individual meals.
It's a picture behind.
Yeah, up there, it's amazing. I don't know if you can all see it from back there, but 112 meals they made. And I came to pick it up, and my heart was just ready to burst. And I told them all what this food was doing. It was going to feed people in need. It's going to feed people that were not able to have a meal. And that they were able to be a part of something that just brings so much joy to my heart. My organization's 5 years young. We started with some scarves in a park, and we built it up to where we're probably feeding hundreds and hundreds of people all the time, every month. We feed people. And your students showed such an interest in helping us make that happen, that there were students in that classroom that had tears in their eyes when they found out where this food was going and who it was helping. So I just want to say thank you for letting us collaborate. And we've already set up for our next meal. We're going to skip December because December's a little busy for everybody. We're going to move to January and we're going to get together again and make some more food. And I'm super excited about it. And I just wanted to say thank you again for just what an amazing group of people you are and the beautiful students that you're creating here for the real world out there. Because they need to know what it's really about. So thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Some video. I'd like to call Mr. Chancellor and Edward back. I may have seen this on the news recently, FMZ 69 and well, Edward, what was the other one? Fox 29. We pitched a plan of NASA and before we get started, Mr. Reinhardt, can you play? Yes. Draw your attention to the screen. Theater too.
So obviously we've gotten a lot of recognition in the last few weeks. I just want to take a moment and make sure that we also recognize Rich Mathias, our former mechatronics instructor. He did all of the work getting us set up with Hunch. And then he helped us out last year doing the final inspection and all the documentation for the parts. So I think NASA was more impressed that Rich got all the paperwork right, more so than the parts that were manufactured. But it's been a great experience for us. We've been using it for recruiting during open house and tours. I've had younger kids say, I want to come here because I want to make stuff for NASA. So when you have a trade, which I think is the greatest trade in the world, no offense to anyone else behind me, kids know what a car mechanic is. Kids know what a carpenter is. They don't know what a machinist is. So now that we're opening those eyes, that's a terrific thing. Through the Hunch program, when we had Penridge Central Middle School come in, I made a contact with one of their STEM teachers. He wants me to come in and talk to his class about CNC machining, show them some of the things we make, just to show how engineering relates to CNC machining. every manufacturing facility owner you'll meet will tell you the best engineers were once machinists because they understand manufacturability. So from a recruiting standpoint, it's been terrific. This year, we're gonna be making the same part again. We were the first high school program in the country to successfully make that part, and there is a huge demand for it. So Everett and another student that couldn't be here tonight because he's at Skills USA PDC conference are going to lead the way. I challenged them to come up with a more efficient way of making it this year than we did last year. And right away, Everett and Austin decided we were going to incorporate our new 5-axis rotary table into the process. So I'll let Everett talk a little bit about his experience and I'll get out of the way.
I guess basically it was amazing work for NASA. And to make the part itself, it was definitely a great challenge because this is a part that typically NASA might go to like a very large company to ask them to make it. And we were spared no quarter on the tolerances and the inspection process. We are held to the same expectations as any large company in the industry. And to be able to meet those tolerances and expectations that they wanted of us and successfully too, it was definitely no easy feat, but it was definitely very fulfilling to be able to do it. And to touch on Mr. Kanzler's point on the 5-axis, to those who don't know, we did recently acquire a 5-axis trunnion, which is basically an addition to the mills that we have that allows us a lot more mobility, and that allows us to, instead of having to take the part out and put it in another machine to do another feature on it, like say make a hole, instead of taking it out and putting it back in the machine, the machine can move itself, which eliminates a great deal of human error, because we can only get it so close. But with this, it should be much more efficient and much more accurate.
Any questions?
We'd like to thank the board for their support for that equipment. We know it's not cheap, it's very, very expensive. But to capture those real world work experiences allows them to be trained. So thank you.
And just to comment on, you have amazing communication skills. I feel like you're like 35, so giving this description. It's amazing, you know, and you're such a great role model. And if we can get, you know, you to speak to so many other kids about this program and about the difference that it makes, you're going to go places, and it's going to be great because you can put this on your resume. How many people can put on their resume that they manufactured parts for NASA, right? When they graduate from high school, that's going to be huge.
And isn't your name going to be on the space station because you got to sign the?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. Are they gonna tell you when it launches? Is it gonna launch from Wallops? You'll be able to watch, maybe drive down there.
We didn't ask that many details. So, so the signing that was just mentioned, 3 weeks ago, I believe, 2 representatives from NASA came and they brought a panel with for another project. It's a storage locker. Basically the space station is a big floating laboratory. All their experiments are stored in these lockers. So there's a really big panel that has room for signatures. So the students that participated got to sign it, and then their names go into space.
And Everett, I want to apologize. He almost missed his TV interview because he was explaining everything to me and Dr. Friedman so well back there. And he almost missed his TV interview, so I'm glad they pulled him away.
Chris tends to have that effect on people. I do too. He'll eat it. More so probably even me.
Well, I want to ask you mentioned, sorry, that you're gonna go to Penridge Central Middle School to work with STEM with Mr. Runkle?
Mr. Smith.
Okay, but I love that. I love even the gentleman that Mr. Kavanaugh or the Kavanaughs, they were saying like the younger, it's good to like get that out there. So then the students from here will be going into middle school.
That's the plan. And I'd love to visit all the middle
Right.
schools. He was just our first contact, so I'd like to make those relationships with all three.
Love that.
We'll see if we can make that happen.
That's very, very important because we still have spots. This is one of our best program, because it's the students don't have the interest, they have the aptitude because they haven't been exposed to it. So we really want to get with those robotics, those middle school, Mr. Barrios, we appreciate that opening those doors to get in there. Because again, the NASA person said the same thing. If you want to go into engineering, the best way is to go through these technical programs. So.
And
Now,
that's
do you know, what's so great about manufacturing? I know Penridge has signed back up for that. Is that something Palisades and Quakertown are back in again? Do you know? Does anyone know? Because that's something that's huge. The what's so great about manufacturing competition that they do at the middle school level, and it exposes the kids to these fields early on so that they know what machining is. And they get to go to some of our local engineering companies that will partner with the school district and mentor them. They create videos, they go there, they learn how to do stuff, and it's a big competition. I know Penridge, two of our middle schools won
Jack
the last
Hunter was the
time
one
we
who
were
started it.
participating.
Jack is a huge supporter of manufacturing in the state, and he'll say over and over again, you have the best advanced manufacturing program in the state. So he's not necessarily involved with What's So Cool, but if there's any way we could make those inroads, because we are bridging the gap. What's So Cool used to be the middle schools to the industry, and we said middle schools to the tech school to the industry. And that's the key, and that's what we're working with. So he's no longer doing What's So Cool about manufacturing, but if we could bridge those gaps. Mr. Chancellor is excellent at reaching out to all three districts. If we could help facilitate that, that will only benefit students.
And in just a short period of time, you've already engaged in so many things. You did the camp, which was the first time we had machining as one of the options for the camp over the summer, and the kids made dice.
So there was third, fourth, and fifth grade in the morning, and sixth, seventh, and eighth in the afternoon. The kids loved it. I think I learned I'm not cut out to be an elementary school teacher. But no, there were two young men and one young lady that loved it. They were like, "This is so awesome! I want to do this." And all I could think about, a little cocky, was, "Yes, you do."
Yes, I had heard great feedback, except you want to share the negative feedback?
Yeah, so the dice were designed to be a decoration that would sit on a shelf, dresser. It was not meant to be played with. So many parents, Mr. Wagenhurst in particular, commented how their hardwood floors did not like my summer camp project.
Picture a big die that's like this, solid metal.
Modify the equipment for, do you want to tell that story?
We realized that the kids were too short to reach the machine, so I ran home and grabbed every step stool and step ladder I had in the house, and we set them up for the kids so that they could safely reach the equipment.
But yeah, no, they had fun. But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not cut out to be an elementary teacher.
No, and you know what, I wanted to bring up a point. You mentioned it really quickly, but, and I especially want to bring this back to, to Quakertown as well, that, your program had empty seats in it. So this isn't something that, we didn't need to add another teacher. We don't need to build another room onto our building to bring more students into here. So, the same cost to operate your class at 70% is at 100%. So we really have to work to get that. And, if bringing you and your students into the middle schools would help with that. And plus manufacturing, I don't know about you, Chuck, that's a pretty important job for the future, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if we're gonna go through, my opinion is we're gonna go through the manufacturing renaissance in this country. The last position that I had, our company did space level manufacturer. And I can tell you that I've done automotive, and I've done aerospace, and I've done space level manufacturing. Space level, from a discipline and paperwork standpoint, is the most rigid discipline out there. So if you can, find your way through the maze of the documentation and requirements on space level, you can do just about any kind of manufacturing. So good on you for finishing that, because I know exactly, unfortunately, what's involved. So but we have to work on scheduling and figure out a way to be smarter about scheduling students to take advantage of the space. And, you know, there's some limitations on the sending side, there's some limitations here. We just have to negotiate and figure out what we do. And maybe we gotta, you know, think out of the box a little bit.
But I know at Figured World of Work, career, counseling is very, very big now. I have a pilot from U Science. We want to be too initiative heavy, where they said, we'll give you the product for free, et cetera. So as we begin to collaborate with Mr. Barrios, Dr. Friedman, Dr. O'Connell, when we come together, we're going to be really focusing on that career counseling. Great students, great time, you know, great space, great time. Excellent job, we appreciate it. Before you get off there, this is, Chef Ott has a NASA update too.
So, we just got an email last night, for those of you that don't know, there's a recipe competition for NASA. We got an email that our recipe was chosen to go to the next part of the challenge. So we're gonna move on, and the preliminary competition is gonna be in February, so we have to go to New Jersey for that, but our recipe was just accepted for that. So that's something that potentially, if we come in top 10 in the country, we can go to Texas. If we come in first place, there's serious scholarship.
When you go in first place, as Mr. Wright said. We got you.
Stabilization, the dehydration, everything that goes into food. So that would take 1 pound of food into space, it costs 1.2 million. Insane. We learned a lot from the kids have been really engaged in it.
Well, Chef Ott, I have a lyophilizer, a freeze drying machine at my work. If you want to test any of your food out and see what it's gonna taste like once it's freeze dried.
Here, so you just gotta donate it. You're good.
Oh, well, the machine, no, that's not something I can just lug down here, but it's a little big.
Get a hand truck. Go.
Okay, yeah, you need well, no, but if you wanna test some stuff before you send it, you know, anything like that.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, because then they could see what it would end up tasting like.
Yeah.
Yes.
They said that you're eating in faith, it's like eating with a cold all the time. So we have to go heavy on state thing. We're staying within the nutrition.
That would be neat for students to get.
I have to run my machine every once in a while, and we don't have a lot of orders for that machine right now. So I have to run it every once. We just ran like 30 pounds of candy through it just to mess around with it. So, yeah, I mean, okay.
Thank you very much. Adrian and Peter, can they come and please just set up some laptops? And 69 people signed up already.
That helps with number for your enrollment report as well.
Yeah, we really need to know and track that, because if we find out like machining is low, we always want to be very, very proactive. Students know, if you look at the science behind career counseling, they'll know at a very young age what they're interested in, and they'll fine tune it, like within 2-3 programs. I appreciated hearing that. So it's open, really focusing on, I can share my screen. We have to be able to market it and elevate your future with Upper Bucks County Tech School, which is a very, very key. Newsoma, they've given us free press coverage, and which is invaluable. You're going to see in the local newspapers very, very soon a new press release that just came out for Bucks County and Upper Bucks County Technical School, announced the first partnerships for an esthetician program. I gave a labor statistic where it's 19%, projections. That collaboration with the community college, helping the community, our instructors, Mrs. K, Mrs. Mandato. If we lease a space out, that's a $20,000 revenue coming into the technical school. It's helping students. We're negotiating to get reduced rates, scholarships for current high school students with that. So 1 and 1 is not 2, 1 and 1. That relationship is really going to be helpful, and we're going to be doing the same with the vet tech. Down the road, Mr. Hallowell is, with his knowledge of ag, et cetera, making sure that we can lease those spaces out. And this is going all the way from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley, all these press releases. We're getting the phone calls. Mrs. Nice was at the Skills USA, and she said the Monroe person was asking about the NASA. So, and I think if I show you my newsletter where we show that, it's all over the world. They're hearing about the great things we're doing at the tech school. So kudos to the JOC for your commitment. Senator Argol and the Senate Education Committee has asked me to testify on mandate relief, and that is going to be on November 28th. I'm very excited about that and providing very specific examples where the General Assembly can support that, right? I always use the analogy of legislators working with, you're not going to tell a brain surgeon how to do surgery. As schools, we're the professionals. We're very balanced. Mandates are very minimum. But we also want to be able to show that we exceed those and we can't be stifled by innovation. We look at a lot of the mandates in K through 12, they, growing increasingly. CTE has very few. Just by chance or by luck, we're very happy. We believe that we are really taken off. I'm not sure I can make the relationship because of those few mandates, but it's something that we should look into and research. Donations, we would like to thank the following donors that help our programs. Mr. Hallowell has a personal connection to Mr. Atkins, if you want to.
A little bit. He's past 8th grade, of course.
And so these donations are helpful to our programs. We thank those group for the donations. And one quick thing, the newsletter's up on the website. I'm not going to go through this. It's going to have some of the things that we talked about, all of our placements. And if this could be shared at the board meetings and the school would be appreciated. Finally, with great sadness and regret, we are going to be losing some board members who have been very instrumental in the success of the tech school. Your passion, your advocacy has put us in a great spot. Our enrollment has gone up from 715 to 2019 to over 900 students. Articulation agreements, all of these accolades. You're public servants, and it's not always easy, and this goes for the entire board, to provide the service, represent the community, what you feel is best. It's a selfless position. It's not paid. You put yourself and your family sometimes are questioned with decisions that you made, but I can say everyone on this board always puts what's in the best interest of the students and the tech school first. So the two people that are not leaving is Mr. Rice, Megan Bennis Clemens. Thank you for all of your support.
Thank you. It's been, you guys. You guys make it easy to be so supportive over here because everything you guys are doing is so amazing. Everyone here truly cares about what's best for kids. I love being in this building because you can just feel the passion everywhere you go. You know, I know the name of probably every single employee who works in this building, from, you know, going in and meeting everyone in all of the different classrooms. And I can't really say that about everywhere, you know, that, you know, from everywhere else that I am, but everyone, literally everyone, every single program, these people are here. They've moved from industry. They've taken on years and years of additional schooling to be able to come here and teach kids. And you don't do that unless you're passionate about what you're doing, unless you're trying to make a difference and get kids prepared for their future outside of this building. And just watching the advocacy, watching the opportunities that you guys open for kids, watching you think outside the box and the differences that you've made in this building. I mean, it's just been night and day in the time that I've been here. Just the climate here, the culture here, it's just amazing. And I really am thankful that I had the opportunity to be a part of it.
So in the future, can we work out something for homeschooled moms or homeschooled representatives on the school board, on the JOC? You'd come back.
There you go.
No, I wanted to mention something too. I will, with you two in the room. I mean, for as much noise, as much distractions, as much that went on outside of here, this place has focused on students. And it's really a lot because of what you have done. Even during COVID, when all this noise and all these shutdowns were happening, this school almost operated, you know, up to full capacity. And that was because of your leadership. And you know, it's invaluable. Our students in here are enjoying so much more and so much of a better environment because of what you guys brought, what you guys allowed Dr. Herrera to do, and, you know, open that up and didn't put any barriers for him to accomplish these things. So, and Diane as well, who's not here tonight.
I'm sorry.
Yes. But that's what I'll say, but I'll let you talk now, Dave.
I don't say much, Perry. No, I was gonna say, it's really easy because I come from a technical background. So I actually went to a technical school. Well, I actually been in the IT industry for 28 years. I started with a technical degree from Allentown Business School before it was all kinds of changes, names and all that stuff. So I got into that industry through a technical background from building houses. So this is actually how you get students involved in the industries that they love. They fall in love with it and they grow in their passion for what they do. And that's what you want. You want to have a career where you enjoy going to work every day, or what you do every day. You want to enjoy it and you want to enjoy who you work with. This environment here produces that. I think what we have here, they're learning to work together, the opportunities that they have with the NASA, the Subaru, the Toyota, all those opportunities that the students are getting now is light years ahead of what it was just 5.5 years ago when I started coming to these meetings. It's phenomenal. The changes that we've made here, the growth that we've made, the student numbers, I mean, just the academics alone of what the students are accomplishing here. It's phenomenal. And you'll still see me out the audience. So I'll still be here. I'm not going away because I want to make sure it keeps going in the right path. Because I like
These kids are graduating with a skill set that compares to no one. No, yeah, they, you know, whether they go into that field for a career path or not, you know, the skills that they learn here just really prepare them for any future. And I just want to make sure I also mention, you know, we've gone through so much over the last several years that we've been here, and our staff has pulled through, and our staff has stuck by our kids and the programs. And, you know, Tracy has
has helped the building not fall apart over the last few years. And we just really appreciate all of what Tracy has put into this too. And Stacy coming aboard and joining the team. And I know that we've been so understaffed with, and everybody's been taking on, you know, larger administrative loads than what's typical. And there were periods of time when hiring was difficult. We couldn't get enough people in here, and everybody stood up and picked up the slack here. And that's just the great team that we have in this building.
Very fortunate.
Thank you. George, did you want to do a quick update real quick on? Yes.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
So hello, everybody. So I wanted to do a quick update. So this week on Tuesday, 13 of the students of the Ag Tech program competed in the fall FFA regional contests in Lebanon Valley Fairground and Expo Center. They competed in the equine judging, the dairy judging, the dairy foods, and also the aquatics contests. They competed against 36 other schools. Of those schools, for your reference, include Lancaster County Career Technical Center, Lebanon County Career Technical Center, Chester County Technical Schools, the Reading Muhlenberg CTC, and then Berks CTC as some of the other schools that they were competing against. They competed for over 4 hours in both a written and skill-based assessments throughout that time. When they compete on the state level for this, it's typically done over 2 separate days. So the fact they had to do this all in one day nonstop was very much of an endurance test on the kids. During that time, just to kind of quick go over some of the results. We had several of the students placed really well. For the equine judging, we had Haley from Quakertown, Marley from Penridge, Kaylin from Quakertown all placed silver. We also had Odessa and Keeley from Penridge as well placed bronze overall, competing against over 100 students in that contest. And dairy judging, we had Kaylee from Palisades and Olivia from Quakertown also placed silver in that contest, again competing against over 100 other students. For the dairy foods, we had JC from Quakertown place silver, and then we had Maddie from Penridge place bronze, and Becca from Quakertown also placed bronze as well, and they were competing with a group of students of over 50. And then in the aquatics, almost with 100 kids competing, we had Michael from Penridge, John from Penridge, and Orlando from Quakertown all placed silver and bronze as well. The kids did really well. They worked really hard on it, and I'm immensely proud of the hard work they put in. So I did want to kind of share that. I know I did send an email, PowerPoint slide to Dr. Aaron School that they would want to share that with the board. You're certainly welcome to, so you can kind of see the morale. I know they worked really hard. There's a lot of questions I got asked that I wasn't anticipating getting asked on from different confirmations with cattle and horses that I didn't realize that they were really, I was thinking, oh, they're just going to have a good time, but they were really taking it seriously. So I couldn't be more proud of the students. So thank you.
The most amazing thing that I heard from that was you explaining where the other schools that they were competing against too. Those are huge farming communities, Lancaster and Chester County. So many of those students probably live on farms, and that may not be the case with all of ours, but the fact that they placed so well.
Yeah, they
competing
did.
in this area, that region seems like a very monumental task.
I know Dr. Aaron and School expected the kids to do really well, and they definitely tried to reach that achievement that you two had for the expectations. So I want to thank you both also for that support as well, for letting the kids go. So it was definitely a great opportunity for them, and it got them all excited for the next round of contests in the spring. And then also they've even now starting to try to think about could they go to states as well. So it's a really great opportunity.
So the states aren't at the farm show. I always thought that's like where they held some of
that would make sense, but they have it at Penn State during the middle of June. Usually conflicts either with Penridge or Quakertown's graduation date. It's a little bit of an eye roll on my side when I'm trying to figure out, okay, are we going to even do this or not? So
go to Mr. Redding. I keep asking, who do we have to go to? But it's entrenched.
Well, I know the sending districts do have to, book those graduation venues way in advance.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's always it conflicts with at least one of the graduations.
Yeah.
So it always kind of means maybe the seniors can't go, or some of the juniors don't want it because they want to see their peers graduate. So it's always something that we have to consider.
Well done, George, and that's my report.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, that was a very long but very informational report. So let me find where we are on the agenda. Okay, subcommittee report. We did have a facilities meeting today. We had updates on the cafeteria project. We're going to be getting further numbers on the phase B, I guess is what we were calling that, of the Giza project, which would be a roof project and a generator. And we're also looking at barn repairs that were being advised through the OAC. We don't have numbers for that, but one of the other things that we did discuss at the facilities meeting was breaking out our facilities meeting, since there's so much content to discuss moving forward. And we are, I guess, under agreement with this current board, gonna move forward with December 7th at 6 p.m. And that should be a Zoom and in person, or is it a Zoom only meeting or? In person. Okay. And did I miss
Wait, when
anything?
you say this current board, how does that work? Because December 7th,
It's gonna be after reorg.
December 7th is after reorg, but usually before people have sent people here. So it's before, I kind of feel like you can't really do a committee meeting till you guys reorganize in December here. I don't think you can,
We're gonna be on the 6th, right? Here?
no, not here.
No,
Oh,
Quakertown, you're right.
Oh, here.
You know what? That is because we don't officially bring people in here.
That's a good point.
So let's postpone.
Let's postpone the December 7th. Yeah, that's a good point, Megan. I didn't even really think about that. I was just like, oh, that's a day after our reading. So I guess we'll have to put that doodle poll out again, or the poll.
Let's talk about that at reorg. I think that would be a conversation for you to guys to have at your reorganization meeting.
Oh, okay, so we can just leave it at that for now.
It's been advertised now.
Okay.
Well.
Committees, those are people that come back.
The facilities committee.
But that's not, but that's not decided until the reorg.
Yeah, but Bob can jump in and take one. He's fine, he's at facilities that kind of checker.
Yeah, we're all here usually anyway. We'll re-get together after this. I guess for now, we'll just include facilities on our next meeting, just like we've been.
And in that meeting, did we talk about still at least getting the quote for not making it a flat roof again? Whether we're adding another floor or adding a pitched roof,
We will be bringing, we will.
are they at least getting numbers?
That's kind of, I don't think that conversation.
I don't think.
Can you make sure that they're actually still getting numbers, Mike? Because
We'll get
my frustration with Site Logic here in this building multiple times has been, we ask for something and then we don't get it numerous times, and that needs to happen. Because we can't be coming back meeting after meeting, asking for the same things over and over again. It's been a problem. And I'd have said it when he was here, but I wasn't here to the end.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
and I don't know how beneficial it's gonna be for you to have extra facilities meetings if we're not really getting any information in the meetings. I mean,
We're gonna be.
they gotta be
short, too.
bringing us what we're asking for.
It's risky on their part to provide it, so I'm sure they want to put the energy into it to get it as close as they can.
Well, I can tell you at Penridge, when we've used Site Logic and we've told them to get us quotes, we've been able to get quotes in a reasonable period of time, and they've been pretty valid quotes. So I don't know what keeps happening over here, but there was never that sticking point, and I'm talking big projects. I'm
Well,
just saying.
I'm not. Well, I'm not sure though, if he isn't going to bring us back, if there's a roof replacement. That the roof replacement won't also include, a pitched roof, which, requires that more framing and. Changing things out, so
As soon as we get it.
I don't know, it would have been a good question to ask tonight, but.
To send the districts.
Right, we just need the numbers. And to your point, Chris, I did ask it last month. I should have
Yeah,
asked
so-
it again this month, the next month, and the following month. Just not to.
No, I think that's gonna be impossible because. Yes, we'll reach out to Casey.
And not to circle back, but you mentioned about speaking on unfunded mandates. Reach out to Rebecca Malamus at the intermediate unit. She put together a packet. I can't tell you, it's probably this thick of all the unfunded mandates. So bring that with you and say, put it down and say, these are all the unfunded mandates that you require of the school districts, and you can, you know, kind of sift through it and pick out your favorites, but she actually went through and created a document with every single one of them in there. Did she? That makes sense.
Okay, so finance subcommittee. Do we have any finance updates? We didn't really have a meeting, okay? Policy, we have two first readings, 706 and 7061. If anyone had any questions or concerns about moving them forward.
I just had one policy 706. It needs to have a definition for major loss. Is there any major loss needs to be put into the JOC? Okay, oh, what's that? $1,000, $10,000, whatever. What's the percent of value or define? So.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get that back to you. We have the regs, the sample regs, and I will bring that to you next month. And we'll have, that'll be one of the points that'll be mentioned. And
don't have a lot of energy.
So, Mr. Khan, and that's okay to leave it on for a first reading, even if they put an edit in there between the second.
That's not a kind of edit that requires a starting over.
Okay. Okay, program, nothing? Okay, so we'll move on to our consent agenda. Now, what I'm gonna be looking for here is, well, let me first go to them. A is the October meeting minutes. B is October financial reports. C is November bills payable. D is personnel recommendations. There's quite a few in there. E is revised policies 625, 702, 703, 704, and 705. F is new OAC members. G is budget transfers, and H is a student teacher at from Del Valle University. What I'm looking for is a motion to approve, because I want to have a separate discussion on item D. A motion to approve A through.
I'll make a motion to approve
C.
A through C, E through H.
There you go.
Can I get a second?
Sorry, what was that? What did you say?
A through C, E through H.
And does anybody else want to?
What was D?
Hold on, Megan's looking real quick.
D was first one.
Okay. Oh, who made the second?
Next meeting, you might be here.
Jordan did.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Hold on.
Sorry, is there any?
Student teacher.
It says Taylor Rollins.
Taylor.
Yeah. What is the,
Yeah, what's he teaching?
yeah, what's he teaching?
Okay.
Taylor Rollins is a dedicated senior pursuing a degree in ag at Delaware Valley University. Originally from upstate New York, Taylor life has revolved around the rich tradition of the ag industry, with the childhood spent working on dairy farms and contributing to family's small-scale major operation. Her roots in agriculture run deep. Mr. Dietrich and I interviewed her, we met with her, and she presented herself very, very well.
So she's gonna be working with you. Yeah, so I'll be the lead teacher and mentoring her throughout the month of January to the end of, I believe it is April is the time that she's with us. And hopefully getting her ready to become an ag teacher like that. Awesome. Okay.
And some of our current students interact with her there at Del Valle. We have a strong partnership with them.
Awesome. Okay. Well, down to budget.
Okay, all in favor of A through C, E through, no, just
H.
H.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion passes.
I'm in motion to approve item B.
Any seconds?
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. I get a
Okay, so now we can have this discussion. I wanted to bring up item C in this, the superintendent of record hiring. I fully support signing Mr. Barrios, and I think he's gonna be a great addition here. And I want to thank him for serving. However, the date is incorrect here. Penn Ridge, in their cycle only has one more, or the remainder of this school year on there, so that should read through June 30th, 2024.
We have unanimous consent to amend the agenda that way. Yes.
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 Sounds
Okay, and then the other question that is part of this is the executive director goals.
When you pull that out.
Well, maybe we could modify it. The goals. Well, table them for now. To approve them after superintendent.
I can change my motion to remove that.
Yeah, so we should table that then, that,
But we'll have to take out.
I'll make a motion to table item G from that list.
We'll have to take out M and G.
okay, yeah,
D is the overall, G is the sub.
we're in the sub, there's a sub list under that list. You probably couldn't open it.
Didn't go that deep.
Yeah, so it was, we just had the year, basically amending C is amending the years of superintendent services, and
I thought
that's C.
Mr. Spear?
Yes.
Sorry. Mr. Barrios is-
Oh, okay,
Mr. Spear, I have the goals.
okay.
Well, we haven't even seen them. In
Yeah, I
fact,
didn't know if-
We're gonna
Share them,
executive session.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if the rest of the JOC
Got it.
wants to weigh in on that, or,
I
Well,
thought we were gonna see them in
not
executive
to be
session, but
that-
then I thought we didn't have them.
Not to be that, parliamentarian, but a motion to table is actually non-debatable. We need a second, and then we're either gonna table it or not. There is no debate on
okay,
like the merits of it.
well, first we had a
I'm
motion.
gonna remove my motion to table, so you can keep talking about it. We'll table it again after we're
All
done.
right, so since she hasn't had a second, but we still have the motion to remove item C. So we never did get this.
Fine, we all agree to motion. That's done.
Discussing item D.
Yeah, so can we see?
So sub.
Under the subsection G.
It should be a number. It should have been a number if you could.
Should have been a number.
It should have been a number. It
Yeah.
should have been a letter, then a number, kind of like when you do.
Roman.
Can we see that?
Roman numeral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
numbered letter. That's, yeah,
Why don't you share them?
so.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. You actually want to review them in the meeting and then vote?
I would like to see them outside. I'd say we table it
Can we
and
take,
then we vote on it next meeting.
or we could move into an executive session. You could share them with us and we can come back in if you don't, or.
I don't mind
you
sharing
can
the
share them
public,
here, I
but it's up
don't
to
care.
I mean, we did sort of attempt to do that, and Mr. Khan stopped us and said that should be discussed at a public meeting.
The goals?
No, he wasn't talking about the goals.
No, that
Oh,
was,
okay, I thought we were still.
Yes, a lot of detail about it. I mean, it's up to the JOC. You can hash it out right now, but it does seem normally you would table this, hash it out outside the context of the meeting, and then bring it back next month. It's entirely up to you all.
I mean, you can certainly share it. If there's a want, we can take a look at it.
If you wanna Yeah, we can still
table
table them anyway, but
Yep.
Well,
He
he
did.
just did say, yeah.
I would like to hear them before I vote on them.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine. If you want to share, is it possible you can get them up on our screens here?
No, I just have it on. It's the
Those
document.
take
Public. Oh, so we're
It
focusing
could
on,
be.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Motion to table.
I'll second.
Okay.
Second that. Yes.
There you go, then call the motion to table, call the vote on the motion to table, and then we'll move that from that.
Okay,
Yeah.
anybody approve of the motion to table item G?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, I believe that's a unanimous vote, so we'll table that.
Automatically tabled.
So then
Yeah.
you'll.
Send out. Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be discussed in the public meeting.
Well, it actually is up to, this is not in the category where you can't do it publicly, you can. It's also okay before they're approved to do it in executive session, but you're not required to, so that's kind of.
I'd say executive session.
Yeah.
So we'll schedule an executive session before our next meeting on it, which is a little awkward with it being a reorganization meeting, but. So that means that officially the new board members that would be in here couldn't discuss anything. Couldn't take part in an executive meeting because they're not technically.
No, this is unlike your, you've all taken the oath of office. You take your roles as soon as you're appointed from your Senate.
From your sending it, so
You
they,
walk into the
everybody,
meeting, all
new
the-
members can also.
The only thing that's up for grabs is the presiding officers.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So,
The boards vote to appoint who comes here.
Correct?
Right,
The Senate.
we all meet
Right.
before this.
So you're all vested as soon as reorg is done from your sending districts. Your reps are. good
Got
to
it.
go.
yeah. So then we are okay with D minus, or with the amended G. Or I'm sorry,
G is going. You remove G.
okay, well, I don't want to remove G.
Table.
Okay, well,
From the motion.
And we modified C.
we modified C that, everything's finished with this?
I feel like it's who's on first.
It is, no, I am. Okay, we get, Tracy's got it straight for the minutes.
There's no more.
Yes, so the term goes to 6/20/24. Gotcha. Okay, all in favor of approving G with the amendments?
No, approving D.
D with the amendment, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is very difficult because we had too many changes here. So all in favor of approving D with the amended subsection of C and the tabling of G? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, this motion's passed as well. Okay. So now we are going to approve, or we're going to ask for a motion to approve Craig Guest to attend the Atlantic Builders Convention Conference in Atlantic City from March 20th through March 21st at a cost not to exceed $700 to be paid from the general fund.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Number 9, a motion to approve, or can I have a motion to approve
I'll make a motion.
the professional consulting agreement between UBCTS and Garnett Financial to have Stacy Gabor consultant to provide business management services effective November 20th, 2023, pending solicitor's review.
I second it.
We already have a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion or?
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that item passes. Is there any public comment inside the room tonight? Okay, Mr. Linden. Come on up.
Robert Linden, Penridge. Hey, on behalf of the taxpayers of this school, I'd like to thank Megan and Dave for their efforts in making this a better school. So don't get any money with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, keep that seat warm next to you because Dave said he's gonna be sitting in there, so Okay,
I'd like to just comment on our dental instructor, Julie Bowen. She's a Palisades grad. She has tremendous knowledge in the dental field. She obtained a Master of Science in Organizational Development and Leadership from St. Joseph's University. She worked at Harcum College. She has a unique ability of dental experience, teaching at the post-secondary level, similar to Patrick. We interviewed her and we think she's going to be a very fine addition to the tech faculty here. So welcome aboard, Julie, if you're listening.
okay. And then the announcement, I will amend that a little bit from the agenda to say our next meeting is scheduled for December 21st, along with our facilities meeting that has already been advertised. Will be moved to that date. And now, are there any other JOC concerns? Anybody wants to bring up? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Dave and Megan. No, there's no one on Zoom commenting. I actually logged into Zoom so I can check myself. So no chats. I don't know, nobody's. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed?
Wait, there's no people, there's people on Zoom, you're not.
Yeah, there's people, but no comment.
Oh, I said there's no one.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.